Hello and welcome. Today I wanted to do a review of this saber right here, which is from a company called Kybers. There can be a lot of confusion with that name. There's Kyber Light, there's Kyber Sabers, and there's a few other different things like that. But this is Kybers, plural. The other way to find these things, the seller who sells them goes by the name of Upstone on Amazon. And this is actually one of only 2 different saber makers that you're going to find on Amazon. Some of the POC Store stuff, courtesy of YDD Sabers, is on Amazon, and then these, which are from Kybers. Now, this seller offers a few different versions. This is the basic version, which I'm told is their best seller. It's got the lowest price point. A saber like this runs about $100, sometimes $110 depending. And you can get it on Amazon Prime, so you get it with the two-day free shipping if you're a Prime member. So it's a pretty low price point for an aluminum electronic lightsaber. But I'll talk about the features and what it has going for it. But it's one of only a couple that you're going to find on there. So the basic model is the smallest model that they make. They've got some standard models that all take a 1-inch blade, but the basic model takes a 7/8 inch blade. So let me just go ahead and show you for reference. Bam! The magic of editing. Here we are. So this is a 1-inch outer diameter blade on a Vader's Vault. This is the 7/8 inch. So you can see that the difference on them is not much. I mean, it's 1/8 of an inch, but there is definitely there's a little bit more slimness to this one than there is to this one, and it's gone. So the 7/8 inch blade on this, the one thing that you want to be careful with these sabers, just like some of the sabers that you get from POC Store, if you get this and then you want to get like a Ripper blade, customized blade, or you want to use the blade from your Kyber Light or your Ultra Sabers in it, you will not be able to. Ripper Blades does make 7/8 inches, but you have, or 7/8 inch blades, but you have to request them. So bear in mind that you're dealing with a smaller sized lightsaber blade, which is still relatively standard in the industry, or relatively standard, but it's not the standard blade size. So know what you've got when you're shopping for extra blades. The 7/8 inch blade itself is a little bit less dual worthy than some of the others. It's still, it's still polycarbonate, so it's still nice and firm. You can actually hit things with it fairly well, but a 7/8 inch blade will crack. Especially a mid-grade like this one, it will crack and fracture before a 1-inch would. So you're dealing with something that is not as sturdy for dueling, but it is still pretty dang sturdy, all things considered. It's a pretty solid saber. So the saber itself, let me go ahead and give you a look at this. So the saber is a pretty standard tube saber with an angled emitter. This saber actually comes apart in 3 pieces. The pommel is threaded and removable, and the emitter is threaded and removable. I don't believe that he offers interchangeable parts for these, and they don't seem to be the same thread size as anything else that I own. So the fact that they're removable just helps you get to things if you need to repair them. The features of the board, or the features of the saber itself, this grip that's on here, this is something that they send along with the saber. You have to add it yourself if you want it. It's fairly straightforward though. It's a rubberized, padded PK Sports grip that comes with it in a roll. The saber itself has a few screws, one here and one here. These screws are holding the circuit board to the inside of the saber. It's got the activation button, just one button right here. It's got a set screw right here for the LED that holds the LED module in place, and a set screw right here for the blade that makes sure the blade doesn't go anywhere. Overall, it's a pretty nice, solid, compact design. The weight of it, with this light 7/8 inch blade, the weight, or the point of balance, is just above the emitter, which is actually pretty comfortable. I'd prefer it down a little bit, but it's not too bad. If I put a little bit of weight in the end, I might be able to move it. But this makes it pretty close to ideal for a lot of the flips or tricks that you can do with it. I'll put a spin test video up with this one. That's pretty much most of the design there. Charge port right here comes with a charge cable, plugs into a USB. Let me go ahead and fire this up and show you a few of the things that it has to offer. Alright, so you see we've got a fairly, or a decently bright blade. The standard models that they offer actually have brighter blades. The beginning model, or the beginner's model, or the basic model, which this is, because of that lower price point, I believe that this blade was, I think they said it was a 3 to 6 watt, but as I've mentioned in videos before, the difference between this and other blades that advertise themselves as some of the brightest out there, the difference is really negligible from blade to blade. So you can see here it does a pretty good job of lighting up the room. You can see the ambient light coming off me. Tip illumination on this is actually really good on this little blade that came with it. So a little bit about the features of this. You'll notice it's got the swing, and it's got a clash, and a flash-on clash. Well actually I'll cue through some of the features and then I'll tell you about how to activate them. But I can do a blade lockup. I can actually cycle. Right now it's on a light strobe, but there's bright solid, mid solid, low brightness. Now we're on a fade in and out. Now we're on a faster fade in and out. Now we're on a strobe flash. And now we're on that sort of flicker that I had on there to begin with. We can cycle between colors. This thing has 11 colors. I started it on green. There's a white, or sort of a bluish white, blue, pink, or purple, I guess. Oh, missed. Aqua. That's a solid white. That's a pink. That's a brighter pink. I'll talk about why I keep triggering the flash-on clash in a second here. Red. Orange. Yellow. And back to green. So, pretty good array of colors. You have to cycle between them to get to them. One other thing that's on here, it has a volume control. That's low volume, but it's still humming. Mid volume. And high volume. Alright, now let me go ahead and turn this off, and then I'll talk to you a little bit about the features of it and how they're activated. Alright, so when we've got this thing on, the onboard menu is actually kind of tricky to navigate. Just hitting the saber once, there's actually a vibratory mechanism in here under the button, so that as you hold down the button, it vibrates or pulses about once a second. If you hold down the button and let it pulse once, that will activate the saber and turn it on or off. Once the saber, or actually it'll turn it on. Once the saber is on, one pulse will get you to that changing the strobe settings or the flash or the brightness. 2 pulses gets you to blade lockup. Leaving your finger on for 3 seconds gets you to the color change, which is why I kept triggering the blade lockup when I was trying to do the color change, because I took my finger off just a little bit too soon. 4 strobes on this, or 4 buzzes, gets you to the volume settings, and 5 seconds will turn the saber off. Now, that's a little bit counterintuitive for people who are used to other boards, because you're used to being able to just hold the button for 1 or 2 seconds and the saber powers on or off. With this one, you have to hold it for 5 full seconds and wait, and you just keep your finger on it indefinitely and it will power off. But that 5-second power off is definitely quite a lag. I'm not sure that I like that feature, but the rest of it, well, I'll talk about in a little bit. It also has some features that are that you can access when the board is not turned on. Let me go ahead and show you those. If I hold this thing down for 1 pulse, it'll turn on the blade. If I hold it down for 2 pulses, it's going to cycle between sound fonts.
2.
Okay, there's sound font 2. And then here's my 5-second turn off.
3.
Here's sound font 3. And the 5-second turn off. Alright, so it's got 3 sound fonts on there. The second one's kind of interesting. It's got kind of an echoey font to it. If I hold it down for 3 seconds, or 3 vibrations, while the saber is off, it's on mute. Alright, so there's the mute setting. Let me go ahead and turn that back off again. Okay. And in the mute setting, I still have access to everything else, except the volume settings won't do much. When you activate mute, the whole saber vibrates to let you know that you're in mute. When you turn mute off, the saber will not illuminate, but it will make some of the idle hum noise. Just to let you know that the saber sound is back on. So, all things told, let me talk about the positives of this. The positive design on this is a no-frill design. It's easy to use, it's easy to grip, and I like the design on the hilt very much. Other positives on this is obviously the price point. At $100, this is a ridiculously large number of features to get on a saber for $100. I'm used to seeing this number of features with the color change and everything like that being on sabers that are at least twice as expensive as this. And that goes for the color change features, the fact that you've got a strobe, and all of these other options that are built into the board. So pluses, boatload of features for the price point. Straightforward, simple design, very usable, and actually fairly sturdy. Another plus on this is that a lot of budget sabers use a little lithium-ion battery pack like you see in a phone. Higher-end sabers have a tendency to use 18650 batteries, like large lithium high voltage flashlight batteries. This one has one of those flashlight batteries like the higher-end saber. It takes up most of the space right here in the hilt. So, big honking battery, board with the button attached directly to it, LED unit, and speaker down here. The speaker is secured into the pommel with a little rubber O-ring that actually holds it there pretty solid, but if you twist the end off, you can take that O-ring off and the speaker will come out. You can just unscrew these two things, slide the whole board right out. So, very simplistic design, which is nice. Boatload of features for the price point. Love that. In terms of features that aren't so great, the way that the menu is set up, it's sort of a give and take. You get a lot of things for very little money, but you end up with that onboard menu that's a little bit hard to navigate. You saw me trying to switch colors or having to feel out this button pulse. You also have that 5-second power off, and I'm not a real big fan of that. The other thing that is kind of a detractor from this saber, let me go ahead and turn it on and listen to the idle hum real quick. Okay, you heard that little lag or stutter. That's when the wave that is, or the wave file that is the hum on this, when it gets to the end of its loop, there's a little bit of a gap before it restarts the loop, and so you end up with that little gap in the buzz. If you're swinging it around, the hum loop will restart after each swing noise, so you don't ever get that if you're moving around. But if the saber's just holding still, you'll get that little tick every so often in the sound. But all things told, I'd say that this is a great value saber. Sound sabers at this price point are few and far between, and sound sabers at this price point with all of these features and red, green, blue color changing, I have never seen that before. So this has been a look at the Upstone Khyber's saber. By the way, this thing comes with a little manual that you get that'll walk you through all of those menu options, so I was just giving you some idea of what this thing can do. If you order one of these, you get like a little cheat sheet that will get you used to all the different things that it can do and how to activate them. But Upstone Khyber's saber, basic. Hopefully someday I'll be able to review some of the higher end models that have brighter LEDs, more features, and take a standard blade size. But for right now, this was the basic buy-in for this company. Hope this has been of use to you. If it has, please join me back for more reviews, and I'll see you next time.